The life of an Alamajiri child under Abdullahi's control was a grim routine of endless begging and exploitation. Every morning, Abdullahi would wake the children before dawn and send them out into the streets with strict instructions. They were to bring back as much money as possible or face severe punishment. The children, too afraid to disobey, did as they were told. Musa and his companions would scatter across the city, each finding a spot where they could beg. Their pitiful appearance often drew sympathy from passers-by, who would drop coins into their outstretched hands. Yet, despite the money they collected, the children remained hungry and ragged. Abdullahi kept every penny, using it to fund his own extravagant lifestyle. The days were long and exhausting. The children wandered through crowded markets, busy streets, and quiet alleys, their voices hoarse from begging. The sun beat down on them mercilessly, and when it rained, they had no shelter. They were exposed to the elements, their frail bodies growing weaker with each passing day. Musa often thought of his family and the life he had before falling into Abdullahi's trap. He remembered the warmth of his mother's embrace, the laughter of his siblings, and the simple joys of his village life. These memories gave him a sense of purpose, a reason to keep going despite the hardships. The other children, too, had their own stories and dreams. They huddled together at night, sharing tales of better days and their hopes for the future. Despite their dire circumstances, there was a sense of camaraderie among them. They looked out for one another, sharing what little they had and offering words of comfort during the darkest moments. Abdullahi, however, remained oblivious to their suffering. His sole concern was the money they brought in. He lived in luxury, indulging in fine clothes, extravagant meals, and lavish parties. He viewed the children as mere tools for his gain, devoid of feelings and dreams. His heart was hardened, incapable of compassion or remorse. But the children's resilience and hope would not be extinguished. Each day, they found small moments of joy amidst the hardship. A shared laugh, a comforting hug, or a whispered promise of a better future kept their spirits alive. They dreamed of the day when they would be free from Abdullahi's grasp, able to reclaim their stolen childhoods. Little did they know, change was on the horizon. Nafisa, the kind-hearted social worker, was getting closer. Her determination to rescue the children and bring Abdullahi to justice would soon intersect with their lives, bringing hope and light into their darkness. Abdullahi's cruelty knew no bounds. As the weeks turned into months, his exploitation of the children grew more severe. He devised new ways to maximize their earnings, often pushing them to the brink of exhaustion. The children were sent to busier parts of the city, forced to beg for longer hours and in harsher conditions. Musa and his companions endured daily beatings and threats. Abdullahi used fear as his primary tool of control, ensuring that none of the children dared to defy him. His eyes were always watchful, and any sign of disobedience was met with swift and brutal punishment. One particularly harsh day, Abdullahi decided to increase his profits by sending the children to a bustling marketplace. The heat was unbearable, and the crowds were relentless. Musa, already weak from lack of food, struggled to keep up. His small hands trembled as he held out a tin cup, hoping for a few coins. The market-goers were a mix of sympathetic faces and indifferent passers-by. Some dropped coins into Musa's cup, their eyes filled with pity. Others brushed past him without a second glance. The noise and chaos of the market were overwhelming, but Musa pressed on, determined to meet Abdullahi's demands. As the sun began to set, Musa's energy waned. He had collected a decent amount of money, but the day's toll on his body was evident. His legs wobbled, and his vision blurred. Just as he was about to collapse, a kind woman noticed his distress. She offered him a piece of bread and a drink of water, her eyes filled with concern. "Are you okay, child?" she asked gently. Musa nodded weakly, grateful for the small act of kindness. He wished he could tell her the truth, ask for help, but fear held him back. Abdullahi's threats echoed in his mind, and he knew the consequences of speaking out. With renewed determination, Musa made his way back to the hideout. Abdullahi was waiting, his expression a mix of greed and impatience. Musa handed over the money, hoping it would be enough to avoid punishment. But Abdullahi's eyes darkened as he counted the coins. "This is not enough," Abdullahi snarled. "You think you can get away with this?" Before Musa could respond, Abdullahi struck him across the face. The pain was sharp and immediate, but Musa remained silent. He knew that any reaction would only make things worse. The other children watched in silent horror, their hearts breaking for their friend. Abdullahi's cruelty served as a stark reminder of their helplessness. The children's hope wavered, but Musa's spirit, though battered, remained unbroken. He knew that they had to find a way out, and he clung to the belief that someone, somewhere, would come to their rescue. And as fate would have it, that someone was drawing nearer. Nafisa, driven by her unwavering commitment to justice, was closing in on Abdullahi. Her determination to save the children and bring their tormentor to justice would soon become the beacon of hope they so desperately needed.